My fiancée told her lawyer once we're married I want everything transferred to my name ASAP during consultation. The lawyer reported her for fraud and the state charged her with attempted grand theft. She's serving 7 years in prison and owes me $2 million in restitution. She'll never be able to pay. I, 32 male, was engaged to Rachel, 29. We'd been together for 4 years. I thought she was the one. Turns out she thought I was the one too. The one she could rob blind. Quick background. My parents died in a car accident when I was 24. Left me their house, paid off their retirement accounts, and a wrongful death settlement. Not trying to flex, but I was sitting on about $22,800,000 after everything settled. I kept working, lived modestly, drove a 2015 Honda. Only a handful of people knew about the money. Rachel was one of them. We met at a mutual friend's barbecue. She was finishing her master's in psychology. Smart, funny, gorgeous. We clicked instantly. Within 6 months she moved into my house. Life was good. Really good. The red flags were there looking back. She'd make these little comments about my trust fund even though I explained it was inheritance from my dead parents. She'd joke about being a future trophy wife. When I never suggested she stop working, started asking why I was so stingy when I wouldn't drop $8,000 on a purse but I was in love, made excuses. She's just joking. She grew up poor. She doesn't understand. Classic idiot moves. Fast forward to our engagement. I proposed with my grandmother's ring, had it reset with a bigger diamond because Rachel had hinted the original was too small. Cost me $15. She posted it on Instagram before she even said yes. 2 months before our wedding, Rachel suggested we should protect ourselves with a prenup. I was honestly relieved. I brought it up first actually, but she shot it down saying it was planning for failure. Now suddenly she's all about financial protection. Whatever. I agreed. She insisted on using her lawyer, some guy named Marcus. Chin said her cousin recommended him. I should have used my own lawyer, but again I trusted her. We scheduled a meeting for the following week. The night before the meeting, Rachel was extra affectionate, cooked my favorite meal, initiated intimacy, rare by that point, told me how excited she was to be my wife. My dumb brain registered nothing. Here's where it gets interesting. Rachel went to meet with Chin alone first, said she wanted to understand the process before we met together. Fine by me. I was installing new bathroom fixtures that day anyway. She came back 2 hours later. Quiet. Weird energy. Said the lawyer needed to review some documents and we'd meet with him next week. Kissed me on the forehead and locked herself in the home office for 3 hours. That night I woke up around 2 a.m. Rachel wasn't in bed. Found her in the kitchen on her laptop surrounded by printed bank statements. My bank statements from my filing cabinet. The locked one. Couldn't sleep, she said, closing the laptop. Just anxious about wedding costs. I believed her because I'm an idiot. 3 days later I get a call from a number I don't recognize. It's a Detective Torres with the City Police Department. Mr. Davidson, my name is Detective Torres. We've received a report from an attorney, a Mr. Marcus Chin, containing some serious allegations. We need you to come down to the station to discuss a matter concerning your fiancée, Rachel Mitchell. My stomach dropped. Is everything okay? It's better we discuss this in person. Are you free to come in this afternoon? I was there in 30 minutes. They put me in an interview room. A few minutes later, Detective Torres and Marcus Chin walked in. Chen looked grim. He explained that as a lawyer he had a duty to report the potential for a future crime, especially one of this magnitude. It's called the crime fraud exception to attorney-client privilege. He pulled out a legal pad covered in notes. Mr. Davidson, I record all my initial consultations as a matter of practice. During our meeting, Miss Mitchell's questions became deeply concerning. Chen explained that Rachel started by asking about prenups, but her angle was all wrong. She kept asking how to ensure all premarital assets become marital property after the wedding. She asked me, and I quote, "Once we're married, what's the fastest way to get everything under joint control? The house, the investment accounts, everything. I want it structured so I can manage it all." My ears started ringing, he continued. When I explained that inheritance is typically considered separate property unless it's commingled, and that transferring titles and accounts is a complex process requiring your consent, she grew agitated. She said, quote, "He's not sophisticated about money. He just inherited it and doesn't pay attention. Once we're married, I'll have access anyway. I just need to know the right legal tools to move things quickly if our situation changes. I think I stopped breathing. She then asked about a durable power of attorney, wanting to know if she could have one drafted that would take effect immediately upon marriage. And then this is when I knew I had to act. She asked if a spouse could take out a new life insurance policy on the other without their physical presence or a new medical exam. Life insurance? My voice cracked. She specifically asked about policies with large payouts for accidental death. She wanted to know if they pay out for single vehicle car accidents. Remember how my parents died? Yeah. The detective pushed a box of tissues across the table. I hadn't realized I was crying. I ended the consultation and immediately contacted the state bar for an ethics opinion, Chen said. They agreed I had a duty to report. I've provided the full recording in my notes to Detective Torres. I've been practicing law for 20 years, Mr. Davidson. I've never heard someone be so arrogant about their intentions. The next part is a blur. Warrants, police searches. They found so much more than even I expected. Rachel had opened 3 credit cards in my name, taken out $47,000 in cash advances, created fake email accounts pretending to be me, attempted to add herself to my investment accounts, failed because of 2-factor authentication, obtained the official police report from my parents' accident, searched how to make death look accidental 74 times. Taken photos of all my financial documents. Hidden $31,000 in cash in her childhood bedroom at her parents' house. Detective Torres sat me down after they arrested Rachel. In my opinion, you're lucky that lawyer was ethical. This could have ended very differently. I threw up in her trash can. The district attorney's office reviewed the case and came back with a slate of charges. Identity theft, felony theft by deception, attempted grand theft, criminal conspiracy. Her bail was set at $500,000. Her parents put up their house. I'll never forget the call from her mother screaming that I was ruining her baby's life over nothing. Nothing. Planning to steal millions and possibly kill me is nothing. Rachel tried calling me 47 times from jail. I didn't answer. She sent letters through her lawyer. Pages of manipulation. It's not what it looks like. Marcus misunderstood. I was trying to protect us. I love you. The last letter was different. Pure rage. Said I was a pathetic mama's boy living off dead parent money, that I trapped her with promises of wealth, that she wasted 4 years pretending to love a boring loser. That one I kept, read it whenever I felt weak. Update 1. The trial from hell. 6 months later, trial time. Rachel had fired 3 lawyers by this point. Kept insisting they weren't fighting hard enough. Finally landed on some ambulance chaser named Kyle Brennan, who looked like he got his law degree from a cereal box. I thought it would be straightforward. Chen's recording was damning. The evidence was overwhelming. But Brennan came out swinging with a defense that made me physically ill. Rachel claimed I was abusive, that I controlled her with money, that she was gathering evidence to leave safely, that the lawyer consultation was her trying to understand her rights as an abuse victim. She took the stand, cried on 2, claimed I isolated her from friends. Lie. She drove them away with her attitude. Said I monitored her spending. I literally never looked at her accounts. Accused me of threatening her life if she ever left. The prosecutor, thank God, was prepared. Miss Mitchell, you claim Mr. Davidson financially abused you. Can you explain these receipts showing $73,000 in luxury purchases on credit cards in his name? He made me buy those things to keep up appearances, including this $3,000 Chanel bag purchased while Mr. Davidson was in Seattle for business. Watching her squirm was satisfying, not gonna lie. The recording buried her. Chen was a star witness, calm, professional, detailed. When the prosecutor played the part where Rachel asked about life insurance, 2 jurors gasped, but the real bombshell came from her ex-roommate Melissa. The prosecutor found her through Instagram. Melissa testified that Rachel had bragged about her retirement plan, meaning me. Said Rachel called me her walking ATM and claimed she'd be set for life within 2 years of marriage. She said what specifically? The prosecutor asked. That men like him, quiet, traumatized by loss, were easy targets. That she just had to play the loving girlfriend until the ring was on, then it was cha-ching. Rachel's parents walked out of the courtroom. The jury deliberated for 2 hours. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing was brutal. The judge, a 70-year-old woman who looked like she'd seen everything, didn't hold back. Miss Mitchell, you didn't just attempt to steal money. You targeted a grieving man, gained his trust, pretended to love him, and planned to destroy his life for financial gain. You showed zero remorse until you were caught. This wasn't a momentary lapse in judgment. This was calculated predation. 7 years. State prison plus restitution of $2,100,000. The amount she attempted to steal plus damages. Rachel screamed, actually screamed, had to be dragged out while shrieking that I'd ruined her life and she'd make me pay. Her lawyer tried to argue for a minimum security facility. The judge shut it down. Miss Mitchell has shown she's manipulative and vindictive. She needs to be in a facility equipped to handle that. I felt empty. Not happy. Not vindicated. Just empty. Update 2. Thought it was over after sentencing. Wrong. 2 weeks later I get a call from my bank. Someone tried to access my accounts using my social security number and mother's maiden name from a burner phone. The day after Rachel reported to prison, then my employer got an anonymous email claiming I was embezzling. Had to hire a lawyer to deal with that investigation. Cleared obviously, but cost me $8,000 and massive stress. My car tires were slashed twice. Security footage showed a woman in a hoodie but couldn't make out the face. Started getting packages, dead flowers. A sympathy card for my parents with your next written in red marker. A box of ashes with a note, your parents are disappointed in you. Filed police reports. They said without proof it was connected to Rachel. Their hands were tied. Then Rachel's cousin Stephanie reached out on Facebook, said she had information I needed to hear. We met at a Starbucks in broad daylight. I wasn't taking chances. Stephanie looked exhausted. Rachel's been calling me from prison. She's not okay. She's convinced you set her up, that you and the lawyer planned this to steal her future. Steal her future. I know. She's delusional, but here's what you need to know. She's been talking to Bradley. Bradley, her ex before me, the one she said was psycho and obsessed with her. He visits her every week. She's got him convinced you abused her, that you destroyed her life. He's not stable, Marcus. He showed up at my house rambling about justice and making things right. That explained the harassment. Stephanie gave me Bradley's license plate, phone number, everything she had. I'm done with Rachel. What she did was evil, but Bradley, he scares me. Please be careful. I hired a private investigator. Best $3,000 I ever spent. Within a week he had evidence of Bradley buying the burner phone and footage of him slashing my tires. He also confirmed Bradley was on Rachel's visitor and phone lists. That was the link the police needed. They subpoenaed the prison call recordings, and there it was. A call where Rachel fed him my mother's maiden name and laughed as he described the gifts he'd been leaving for me. Bradley was arrested 2 days later, charged with stalking, harassment, and conspiracy, violated his own probation from a previous assault charge. He's doing 18 months, but the damage to my life was done. I couldn't sleep, installed security cameras everywhere, changed all my locks, moved my money to new accounts, got a concealed carry permit. The paranoia was eating me alive, started therapy. Dr. Kim, a forensic psychologist who specialized in victims of financial abuse. First session I broke down completely. She made me feel crazy for trusting her, I said. Like I was stupid for believing someone could love me without wanting my money. You weren't stupid, Dr. Kim said. You were targeted by a predator. She studied you, learned your vulnerabilities, and exploited them. This wasn't your fault. Took months to believe that. Meanwhile, Rachel kept trying. Letters from prison returned to sender. She had other inmates call my number blocked. She even got her new cellmate to use the prison's messaging service to email my sister claiming Rachel was suicidal and I needed to forgive her to save her life. I forwarded that to the prison warden and her lawyer. The manipulation never stops. Update 3. It's been almost 2 years since the trial. Rachel has 5 more years. She's apparently found religion, according to her mother, who still sends me nasty Facebook messages from fake accounts. Born-again Christian Rachel, who's forgiven me for my betrayal. Unreal. She filed an appeal. It was denied. Filed another claiming ineffective counsel. Also denied. Her lawyer says she's out of options unless new evidence emerges. The restitution. I'll never see a penny. She has no assets. Her parents spent their savings on her defense. The state garnishes her prison wages from her job in the laundry, so I get a check from the victim's compensation fund for about $12 a month. It's insulting, but I frame every check. A reminder that she's paying even if it's pennies. I sold the house. Too many memories. Bought a condo in a building with serious security. Doorman cameras, the works. Still have most of the inheritance. Rachel's shopping sprees barely dented it. Thank God. Dating. Tried a few times. Had to explain why I Google everyone extensively and want to see a credit report. Most women run. Can't blame them. One said I was too damaged and would never trust again. She wasn't wrong. Did manage 3 dates with a prosecutor named Amy. She understood the paranoia, had her own stalker story, but I kept waiting for her to reveal some scheme, some plan to take everything. Therapy helps, but the damage is deep. The twist: in the lawyer who saved my life became a friend. We have coffee monthly. He says reporting Rachel was the easiest ethical decision he ever made. Lawyers see a lot of gray areas. He told me that wasn't gray. That was pitch black. He introduced me to his financial advisor. Everything's in trusts now. Ironclad. If I ever marry, my wife will be comfortable but won't have access to the principal. Some call it cynical. I call it learning. Rachel's family still blames me. Her mother sent a letter saying I destroyed a brilliant woman's future over a misunderstanding. Her father posted on Facebook that I'm a coward who couldn't handle a strong woman. They raised her, so I guess the apple doesn't fall far. The hardest part? I loved her, or loved who I thought she was. Sometimes I'll see something, a movie we watched, a restaurant we enjoyed, and forget for a second that it was all fake. Then I remember her asking about single vehicle car accidents while planning our wedding, and the rage comes back. Dr. Kim says it's normal. That grief isn't just for death. It's for lost futures, false love, stolen trust. Some days I believe her. Mostly I'm just tired. Tired of looking over my shoulder. Tired of explaining why I'm single at 34. Tired of wondering if everyone I meet is calculating what they can take, but I'm alive. That sounds dramatic, but considering her search history, it's literal. I'm alive. I'm free, and I'm not in prison. That's more than Rachel can say to anyone reading this. Trust your gut. Do background checks. Get your own lawyer. And if someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. The red flags are there. I just wrapped mine in excuses and called them roses. Don't be me.